Hey guys, Hellsbuttmonkey here. We're going to be looking at the new spoilers out from Wizards today and the rest of the past week. The stuff coming out from the Ravnica Allegiance set upcoming soon. We're going to be looking at the Rakdos Guild first, so let's get our red-black on and go for an intro. Welcome back, guys. Let's start having a look at some of the new Rakdos cards. For those of you who don't know who the Rakdos are, they are the Red-Black Guild in Ravnica, and in this case, the Ravnica Allegiance block. We've seen them in the other two Ravnica sets. They are basically a bunch of psychopathic, hedonistic cultists who worship the Rakdos, Lord of Riots, the fellow right by here. He's a big demon that basically wants to kill everyone. Nice and simple. But they are also the cult guild on Ravnica that basically brings the entertainment to the City of Guilds. And by entertainment, we mean everything from nightclubs to mad, violent, bloodthirsty death parties led by blood witches and other crazy things. So yeah, they're a bunch of laughs. In the past, their mechanics have been Hellbent, where it triggered on cards when you had no cards in your hand. And Unleashed, which gave 1/1 counters to things and meant they couldn't block. And in this set, as we can see on our first card here, we have Spectacle. Now, Spectacle's our new mechanic for Rakdos in Ravnica Allegiance. It is basically an alternate casting cost if an opponent has lost life in the turn. So if your opponent loses 1 life, you can cast it for Spectacle. This card here is one of our new promos, Light Up the Stage. It costs 2 and a red, but you can cast it for Spectacle for 1 red. And it reads, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until the end of your next turn, you may play those cards. Seems quite nice. Probably good in a burn deck or an aggro deck, especially if one shows up in Standard. It might be good in Is It Drakes as well. Or you could be potentially looking at it to hit someone with a shock, then play this, then play 2 more cards. It could work really nicely with Experimental Frenzy as well. So there's a lot of benefits potentially to this card. I'd like to see it do well. It's looking like something people could build around. The rider there as well of until the end of your next turn you can play those cards. That's important, because a lot of these cards tend to say until the end of turn. This gives you a bit more time. So this could be quite a nice card. Moving on, we have the Rakdos Firewheeler. It's the next in our of the 4 mana uncommons we saw. It started in the Guilds of Ravnica set, where you have 2 of each mana colour, in this case black, black, red, red. We saw it with creatures like the Nightveil Predator or the Crackling Drake. This creature, it's a 4/3, which is a decent body, and when it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target opponent, and 2 damage to up to 1 target creature or planeswalker, which is quite handy. It will help trigger the spectacle cost of things, which is quite nice. I think this card is going to be an effective creature in Limited. Like we saw again with things like Nightveil Predator, that thing was a bomb in Limited. I think this could be quite useful, giving you a bit of removal and damage before playing a 4/3 body on the table. It's a bit like a less effective Chain Whirler, if in some sense. But yeah, I think this card could be quite good. Probably in limited though. The next card that was leaked is our Rafter Demon. I think again this is going to be another limited card. It's 4 mana, 2 red-black. Spectacle cost on this creature. If you notice here, its spectacle cost is actually higher than its converted mana cost. You can cast it for spectacle for 3 black red instead of 2 black red. So I think we're going to see a trend of instants and sorceries with spectacle being a cheaper mana cost. Creatures having a higher mana cost but an extra ability. In this case, we end up with a 4/2 demon that if you play spectacle, every opponent discards a card, which could be again really useful in like the limited formats. I don't think we'll see it in much constructed, but who knows. The 4th card spoiled is the Maddy Reveler. 1 and a red, with a spectacle cost, again see slightly higher, 2 red-black, 2/2 body, handy for a 2 mana cost creature, and it has an enter the battlefield ability without spectacle, where it lets you rummage, so you discard a card and then draw a card. So that's pretty useful anyway. I think that's going to be quite useful for any aggro deck running red. Like, more than likely, if there's a mono red aggro deck in standard, I think this could see some play, just because you're getting to rummage. And the spectacle cost as well might make people splash black in that red deck, because if the spectacle cost's paid, you discard your hand and then draw 3 cards. So I could see it being a case of playing that later in the game when you've blown your hand out, like most red aggro decks tend to do, and then refilling your hand with this creature. So I can see this being quite an effective card in standard if there's a mono red aggro deck that's quite prevalent. Finally, the one card I've been looking forward to discussing, Bedevil. Other than the fact that it's got fantastic artwork, we've got ourselves a new rare removal card, costing us the low cost of black red. So it's a bit of a difficult mana cost, but I think it could be quite doable. It's an instant, which is nice because we haven't seen many effects at 3 mana instant removal that kill planeswalkers for a while. Not since Hero's Downfall, I don't think. This card is basically Hero's Downfall with artifact destruction as well. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good card. I think between this and Vraska's Contempt in Standard, I think we've got a good set of removal for black-red based mid-range control decks. And as I said, yeah, the art is fantastic on this card. So I think it's looking like it's going to be a heavily played card in Standard. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed our look at the first few Rakdos cards out. We had the Light Up the Stage, Rakdos Firewheeler, Rafter Demon, Maddy Reveler, and Bedevil. So, who's excited? Well, we'll be looking at the other guilds in the next day or so. We'll be looking at Orzhov, Simic, Azorius, and the Rampaging Gruul. But until then, as always, follow my channel, follow me on Twitter, follow me all over the place. You know where I am. Give the monkey some love. Peace out.